All right. Hey, everybody. Happy Earth Day. I just want to welcome anybody out there watching to our very first Boom Ladies Night. We're hoping this is going to be the start of something super fun and super big. I want to welcome my co-host, Dulcie Stewart, and Beth Maxwell. Say hi, ladies.
Hello.
So we wanted to kind of just get together tonight and just be together and talk about some fun topics. I'm super excited to be here. My name is Colleen Taylor. I am the COO of Boom by Cindy Joseph, and I actually just celebrated my 50th birthday, so big milestone birthday to me. So I'm really, really excited to kind of just jump in and have a little ladies' night with all of you. I'm kind of, now that I'm 50 and it's only been a couple weeks, so I'm brand new to this, the fifth decade. I'm really excited. I am kind of really leaning into more self-love and acceptance in my 50s. And one of the ways that I'm doing that is by starting my very own silver hair journey. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to get into that topic in just a little bit. So I want to kind of give just a little bit of context for this little hangout we're doing. We're not doing any sort of a sale here. This is just a ladies' night to kind of enjoy each other's company and give everyone a place to kind of hang out and ask questions about Boom and Pro Age. And we're going to try to keep this maybe between an hour and 90 minutes. We will make the recording available for anybody who might have missed it. But I do want to kind of set a couple ground rules for everyone. Certainly, we're going to open it up to questions a little bit later, but we really want to focus on positive topics and kind of what's coming next for us. So with that said, this is a no COVID zone. So we're really not going to be focusing on any of that. We're certainly hearing enough of it and seeing enough of it out there in the world. And while it's important, we're going to focus on super positive stuff this evening. And so we're going to talk about Boom. We're going to talk about the Pro Age revolution, a little bit about makeup and skincare, and what it means to be Pro Age right now. So without further ado, let's dive right into that. So Pro Age revolution, if you know Boom, you probably have a pretty good idea about that, what that concept means. It is a movement that our founder, Cindy Joseph, started over 10 years ago. And it's a movement that is really meant to inspire women all around the world to really just love themselves at any age. Empowering and encouraging women to see themselves as beautiful in every decade of their lives. So here at Boom, we continue that tradition and upholding Cindy's legacy with our content and on our social media. And so this revolution is really all of us. It's all of our customers and our readers. And I would really love to hear from both Beth and Dulcie. What do you ladies think of the Pro Age revolution? What does it mean to you? So we'll start with you, Beth.
To me, the pro-age revolution means that you have accepted the pro-age lifestyle and you have a mindset, and it is a lifestyle. It means you are going to be intentional about taking care of yourself and just being nice to yourself and just being comfortable with who you are and just having that confidence. And that's what I love about the Boom's pro-age philosophy. It just, it empowers women to really believe in ourselves, no matter what age you are.
I could not agree more. How about you, Dulcie?
Well, I agree with everything Beth says. I love the phrase pro-age, and I would like to see all of us that follow Boom and the people we know, the friends we have, our family, to try and use that phrase as often as they can, because we hear anti-age so often in the media and everywhere we go. So I can be also guilty of doing that. So it is a mindset. And I also agree with Beth. It's a lifestyle and a choice of how you're going to not only behave, but take care of yourself and feel proud of yourself and have a positive attitude as much as anybody can. And I think health and well-being and just a positive mental frame is where I want to be. And I think that's pro-age.
I think that's great. And I'm so glad that you mentioned anti-age thing, because, you know, that is really what we're bombarded with every single day. And I too am very guilty of sort of like, yeah, it would be nice to kind of slow it down a little bit. But I have to say that, you know, since working with Boom and meeting all you lovely ladies in our ambassador program, and just kind of immersing myself in Cindy's philosophy and in this pro-age philosophy and movement, really, I have really begun to allow myself to kind of just shed that belief that, you know, I got to slow things down. You know, I don't want to, you know, I guess it was almost a fear of like going into the next decade of my life. Like, what's that going to be like? And can I slow it down just a little bit? Because we're always bombarded with that message, you know, to tighten it up or anti-wrinkle or, you know, not show those signs of aging. And I've really kind of begun to embrace that, you know, as Cindy always said, you know, we become more as we age. We know more, we are more caring, we're just more in so many ways. So I'm so glad that you mentioned that anti-age thing, and this is really what we're trying to, you know, to be about is pro-age, like look forward to it. And I'm so excited that I am really, you know, really kind of turning that page and looking forward to it. So I just want to mention a little something that Cindy used to always say, that life is like a V. So everyone kind of views life as a mountain, you know, half uphill and then half downhill. And Cindy saw things a little bit differently, which I always thought was such a unique way to describe just the life process. She saw life as kind of, you know, as a V. So you kind of slide down that V in the first part of your life where you're learning things, you know, you're gathering knowledge and friendships and relationships. And, you know, then you kind of continue as you rise in age. So you're actually climbing in the later years of your life, you're actually going uphill. So I know that's where the saying like over the hill came from, is that we look at things as like there's this peak and then we kind of slide downhill, and we've allowed just society in general, I guess, to kind of, you know, convince us that that's the way it is. And I love that Cindy just, you know, in true Cindy fashion, just turned that upside down and said, no, like we're rising, you know, as we age, which I thought was just such a beautiful way to put it. You know, how do you all think of that, you know, of this process of like, you know, how do you feel like your life is improving and becoming more as you age?
Well, Beth, do you want to take this?
You go ahead.
And I'll follow in.
Okay, you can.
Well, I was just going to say, you know, you had mentioned calling decades like each decade. And I think about that a lot because I think we focus a lot on numbers with aging, you know, and I do just what you talked about. I'm older than you, but I think about each decade, like what's that going to be like? But I have found when you get there, it's just not a huge change because it's all very gradual. So there's nothing to fear. And many of the little snippets and things that I've seen on Boom on Facebook or Instagram where you're talking to ladies and they talk to their younger self, you know, you hear that over and over. I would say, don't worry about it so much. You know, it's going to get better. And I remember well Cindy's analogy of the V, and I thought that was really clever and really inspiring. And I agree with it 100%.
I remember seeing Cindy give that analogy on one of her videos when I first started watching them. And I was so intrigued a few years ago. I didn't know anything about Boone. And I don't even know how I came about her videos, but I just started watching them because I was so intrigued with her and I thought she was beautiful. I loved what she had to say. And it was like I could not get enough of her videos and her talking about the pro-age movement. And I thought, wow, this is what we need. This right here is what every woman needs to hear, that it's okay that we get older. We don't have to act like we're old when we get older. I don't feel like I'm old. I just remember that when I was growing up, I thought that 60 was old. And now that I'm about to turn 60 next month, it's young. You know what I mean? And I just think a lot of it is just a mindset, and that pro-age revolution is much needed. I mean, it's just such a big and huge encouragement for women. And I love it.
Yeah, I think more and more women, obviously, like our community is growing, but more and more women are seeing that. And I feel, at least for me, my experience was like Cindy and this content, and now the ladies who are becoming part of this community. It's like I've been given permission to like feel good about it, feel really inspired and excited about it, and not, as you said, Beth, like I remember being, I want to say 15, 16 in my neighborhood. And like the kids who were like 18, 19, I thought, oh my gosh, 21, they're so old. Like, I remember having those feelings. And and now I feel like I'm still 21, it's all in the mindset. And I think that's, a great way to put it. So I want to ask, what is the best part of being this age? What is the best part, and were you surprised by it? And either one of you can take that question.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't surprised by it. I think the best part about it is just finally coming to realize I can be comfortable with who I am, because, you feel like you have to have a certain mindset that you can't handle certain things, or you can't be this, or you can't be that as you age. And that's just not true. Anyway, that's the way I feel about it.
I have found that I'm letting things roll off my back a lot easier daily. Things that I might have, relationships or just incidences that happen throughout the day when you're just out and about, things that might have bugged me or worried at me or something in an inordinate amount, too much, let me say it that way. And now, I just kind of look at it like, that just wasn't a big deal. Or I'll say something and I used to kind of worry about, I said that or I did this, and I just don't do that anymore because I know that it just doesn't matter. And another great thing is I would have thought many years ago that at this point in my life, I might have been unhealthy just because of the age, and I'm healthy and I feel good, and I probably feel healthier than I did several years ago. Maybe it's because I have more time to take care of myself, or I put more energy into it. I don't really know why, but I think it's a really great time and I feel good about it.
Yeah, I found that too.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Beth. No, go right ahead.
I was just going to say that I agree with Dulcie that as you get older, you tend to worry less, about things. And I'm finding that if I worry less, then I am able to experience that wonderful. I can't experience that wonderful if I don't release my worry. So that's just kind of a little philosophy that I've picked up for myself,
Yeah, I love
it. I like that. Release your worry. That's a great phrase. I'll have to remember that one. Yeah.
I love that. In fact, Dulce, you touched on it, and that just, Beth, what you just said really resonated. One of the things that I spent a lot of time in, I'll say in my youth, my teens and my 20s, is worrying about what other people think
Yeah.
of everything, everything
Yes.
from my hair to my clothes to my car to whatever it was. And that's one of the things that I have found, not just, today, but over the past, I would say that was my 40s decade. Like I was letting go of all of that stuff. Like I need to do, things that fulfill me. And so that's one of the things that I kind of like let go, and would certainly, if I could tell my younger self a little something about wasting time on something, that would be it. For me, would be like to stop worrying about what other people think. So do you have anything specific? I know we kind of just touched on it a little bit, but anything else specific that you would tell your younger self, like, girl, forget that. Like, it doesn't matter.
That's
You're not
right.
going to remember. Yeah, you're not going to remember that stuff. And it's not because you're older that you don't have a memory. It's just that you're going to remember more important things than who had what car or who said what to you. I mean, there'll be some things that stick with people. That's what I found for me anyway. But yeah, all those things, I think it's just normal for us to do that, and it can't be helped. But it is a shedding of all that as you get older. You shed that kind of thing. I mean, that's what I found for me. And I think my friends and people that I talk to, I get the same feedback from. And we have with my friends that are in my age bracket, give or take some years, we have a lot of conversations about this. And I think overall, people are feeling pretty good at this point in their life. Women are. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. That has certainly been my experience, as I said, over the last like 8 to 10 years, is I find myself just stressing less about things that I cannot control, and things that don't really matter. Like, of course, you have your children or your families and your relationships to nourish and to spend quality time on. But man, if I could get some of that worry time back about worrying about what other people were thinking about my path in life or what I was doing. Those are kind of, I definitely don't like to have regrets in life, but it would be nice to have a little bit of that time back. And as Beth so beautifully just put, was, like it opens the space for you to find the wonderful things that are happening around you every single day. If you're worrying about it, that wonderful stuff is still happening. You're just not focusing on it, and you could be enjoying that instead of stressing about things that, that really don't matter. So that's been a big one for me. And I am kind of surprised that, I was able to just let that go without really thinking about it. I didn't even have to try. It just organically, like, it's almost like a light bulb goes off at a certain point. You're like, really? I really worried about that a lot. So I'm glad that, and that is another example of us just becoming we're more self-aware. We're more, we're ready to enjoy more and stress less. So we're going to make a little shift into talking about beauty for a minute here. So I want to start by just kind of throwing out the question, what do you think of as beautiful at this age? And I know a lot of these questions say at this age, but, really any age, how do you see what is beautiful to you? Either one of you.
Go ahead, Beth.
Well,
This for you.
Okay. For me, I think as you get older, you tend to appreciate things more. And like I said before, you try to worry less. And there's beauty in that. And, you can't embrace your beauty if you're also worrying, because that worry causes stress, and it does a number on your body, and it can do a number on your skin as well. So, just try to release that worry. And I think that, there's beauty in that. So.
Yeah, I think worry can really take its toll on you, and it can't be helped. Sometimes it's just where you're at, it's what's going on or whatever. But I do know, as I've gotten older, I'm much more aware of my surroundings, just the natural surroundings around me. I mean, I always knew it was there and it's beautiful and all that, but I just seem more hyper aware of it now. And as far as physical beauty, I look now more when I say I'm looking at pictures, maybe on Instagram or something like that. Well, you'll see a lot of different people. I'm really enjoying pictures of different people I've seen lately. And a lot of it originated from seeing Cindy Joseph on Boom, but older women and women who are much older. I've just seen some beautiful photography profiling women in their 80s and 90s. And I don't mean all made up or all, dolled up in any way, just really natural, beautiful photos. And they don't look scary to me anymore. I think when I was younger, they might have, and that's just where you are in that place in life. But now, I look at things like that and I just, I'm really awed by that as far as beauty goes. So
yeah,
that's
I
kind of
have
what
to
I've been
agree.
pondering.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think, the way that I see it is, see beauty, I should say, especially when it comes to, women and other people, really, not just women, men too, is people who are comfortable in their own skin. And in their own skin, I think that's, what you were saying there, Dulcie, is like not all dolled up and like, picture perfect and ready to be photographed, just like
Right.
people just living their lives and being real and authentic. And a lot of that beauty really is what's on the inside, and it comes out just naturally. I think when people are, relaxed and themselves and comfortable, I really do see that, that's kind of how my perception of beauty is definitely changed over time. I mean, I grew up in the 80s, so, all the 80s, that was when the supermodels were, kind of coming around, like the Cindy Crawfords and the, Elle Macphersons and all these ladies. In fact, all the ladies that Cindy Joseph used to do makeup on, and so that was sort of the standard that, we girls started holding ourselves to. And, it's nice to know too, that like, yes, you're being bombarded with all these images and you can't really help but kind of look at that as like, all right, that's the measuring stick that I and everyone else is being measured against. And I love how that falls away, as I've been going through my life, it kind of falls away and becomes less and less important. And it's more about the quality, the inside of the individual and of your friends and your relationships. So yeah, that was fun to share. I really, I really agree with, everything both of you just said in terms of that. So speaking of beauty, and I know Beth, you touched on this a little bit, you talked about like self-care and taking care of yourself, and you're spending more time on that. You're allowing yourself to spend more time on that. So how has self-care changed for each of you? I know and again, like I'm a firm believer that there are certain seasons in our life. And I can say like when my kids were small, I have two boys, they are now teenagers. And really, as most mothers of boys this age really could have nothing to do with me, and they'd be okay with that for, they need me for certain things, a little bank transfer every once in a while, you get that text, but for the most part, they are, fairly independent. But there was a time when that's what I focused on. And there was no such thing as self-care for me. And I'm glad that it's sort of making its way back into my life, and has been, something that I really look forward to. Just that. And I mean, self-care could be anything. Just this afternoon, I sat outside in the beautiful sun in a chair for, 10 minutes, before my lunch, and it was glorious. And I looked at that as like the biggest treat. So, I'm curious to hear some of your self-care routines and things that you do to, to make sure that you're taking care of yourself.
Well, for me, we live in the beautiful foothills of Tennessee. So I like to set my alarm every morning at 6:45 so that I can go out back and watch the sunrise coming up behind the mountains. I mean, to me, I just love that. I just bask in it, and I just, that's just my moment. I love it, and, I just appreciate it. But as far as self-care, like in skincare and stuff, it's very important to take care of yourself. And, I've always tried to do that and strive to do that. And just as we try to take care of our bodies and supplementing, what goes inside of our bodies, we also need to be taking care of our skin and what we put, on our skin, and taking care of ourselves that way. Because when we take care of our skin, we need to take care of our skin, as well as putting things in our body. We need to take care of putting things on, our skin as well. So, mind care and self-care, which all kind of rolls into one.
So true. It is our largest organ. I forget when I heard that first said that way, like your skin is your largest organ and it's on the outside. Mm-hmm. So like taking care of that is, it's a job, and it's something that you should really kind of prioritize. So I love that that you said that. I never had thought about it that way until I heard it said that way a few times. Like, it's your biggest organ. You always think of organs on the inside, mm-hmm. but this is like, it's a pretty important one. So yeah, it's true. And obviously, we here at Boom are all about taking care of your skin. So, yeah. So Dulcie, did you have anything to add to?
Well, once again, it's what stage of life you're in. Like I call it the R word, but I am retired from a career of teaching. And, it's kind of another one of those phrases where people like, so what are you? Oh, I'm retired. And it kind of sounds like a cutoff mm-hmm. of everything. So I choose not to use that word, but I'm just telling you here that I am. So my time is different than when I was teaching school. So I have more time for self-care than I did when I was getting up at the crack of dawn and teaching all day and all that. So my days start, I swim 3 days a week, and I do a lot of exercise type things and walking and yoga and all that. And I love it so much more now, because when I was working, I tried to do a lot of those things, but it was harder because I had to squeeze them in, and that was a little bit more difficult. But my favorite thing is just, to go for a walk and be outside and drink a lot of water. I just think that's real important. Get rest when you can, read good books. And the skincare, I'm much more involved in caring for my skin than covering it up. I wished I'd had that message when I was younger. Maybe I did and I didn't listen. I don't know. But I was more into, putting something on the outside,
right,
to change my appearance somewhat. And now I just really enjoy the care part. I enjoy that. Moisturizing and all that kind of thing. And I massage my face, and I spend more time with myself than I used to.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got that advice of taking care and ignored it. I was again, like, outside with the baby oil and the peroxide in the hair, the whole 9 yards. So yes, we've all kind of like, and I think that's okay. Like I don't look at it as like I'm paying for it now or anything like that. Like I look like what I look like as a result of, how I treated myself. And, I didn't treat myself too badly, but there was definitely times when I said, well, no, I need to have a little color. I need to suntan and be outside. And now obviously that's another example of, just being we're more educated. We're way more intelligent as we age. We understand that, you can't do that on a daily basis. You can't abuse your body, your skin, all of that without paying some kind of price for it. And so I am glad that I sort of started to shy away from that, but certainly I ignored a lot of that stuff when I was young and not so smart.
But you had fun.
I sure did. And I was tan.
So there you
I
go.
grew up in Jersey too. So, it was very important to be tan when
Yeah.
you were in Jersey. I don't know. That's just a little something about me, but yeah, it was definitely something that, all the girls, the first couple days of summer, man, we were out there just frying ourselves. And, and now like, those are the things I look back on and say, if I knew then what I know now, I probably would not have, have indulged so much, but it was fun. And it was community, and it was hanging out with your girlfriends and doing, the fun thing of the times. So, no regrets there. So I do want to ask, I'm going to kind of switch gears a little bit. I mentioned when we first started talking that I have kind of just started my silver hair journey. So I am not a natural blonde either. In fact, I'm really excited to see what comes out of this head, like as it really grows in. But maybe about 6 months ago or so, I got my last blonde, like I'm going to stick with this blonde. And so it has nothing to do with any of our current situation that I stopped, dyeing my hair. I had made this decision long before that I was really just going to embrace, what my hair is right now. And so I'm probably, I'm a couple months into it, and I am just so excited. I know Cindy has talked about this a little bit, and we have a new, one of a woman, her name is Pilar. Maybe some of you have seen her first post, and we're going to be posting some of her content. She was a dear friend of Cindy's, and she talks about how, she really was like, not sure, is it going to look good on me? And like, again, that little bit of worry creeps in and wondering what other people are going to think. And as I said, I really am trying to embrace this, not worrying about what other people think. And for me, I don't know how you ladies feel about it, but for me, I'm kind of I need a reason to make a change. Some people can just change like on a dime, cold turkey, do whatever, make a different, habit. And for me, I need it's got to be New Year's resolution or like my 40th birthday or my 50th, like it has to be a milestone, like a good reason. That's just me. And so I think, that had a lot to do with it, even if it was kind of under the surface and I didn't realize it at the time. That was probably one of my motivations for just letting go of this silly, this color that's not me. It's fine. It was super fun to be a blonde for a while. And now it's time to kind of, embrace the silver. And Pilar, in one of her videos that she did, talked about how she was worried it wouldn't look good on her. And I was worried and am still, concerned. I'm thinking about, well, I wonder what it will look like on me, but I'm trying to reframe that thought rather than say, like, I'm stopping myself. I'm not saying I'm worried about what it will look like on me. I'm curious. I'm excited. And so even just kind of like changing that self-talk a little bit, goes a long way. And so I'm wondering, how did you start your silver hair journey? And, what was your experience like? Because I'm kind of excited for mine.
Yeah. Beth, do you want to take it or?
I can, yeah. About 2.5 to 3 years ago, I was coloring my hair. I'm, I guess like a dirty, kind of a dark blonde. And 2.5 to 3 years ago, I was just, frankly, I'll be honest with you, I was getting tired of coloring my hair because as I was getting a little older, it seemed like I had to do it more frequently. And I told my husband, I said, yeah, I'm just getting tired of this. But then, that little voice in the back of my head was going, what's people going to think, and I was trying to let that go. And so I just made the decision that I was going to do it. And I've always had pretty much short hair. So I thought it would be easy. And
which looks fabulous, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I love it.
Thank you. Anyway, so I went to my hairdresser and we decided that I would go platinum blonde. So she colored my hair to platinum blonde. And I was that way, I guess, maybe for about 9 months. And then she would gradually just do my roots. And then all of a sudden, it's just like my silver hair just blended right in with the platinum.
Yeah.
And no one ever knew. They still think that I color my hair. Shh, don't tell it.
I love it.
I'm just kidding. It just kind of gradually and really, honestly, no one noticed.
Yeah.
And they really thought that I still colored my hair. And this is really me now. And I love it. And it's like a freeing thing. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm free. I don't have to worry about this.
That's what I've been hearing.
Absolutely love it. And I would encourage any woman out there, if you are even minutely thinking about it, do it. Just do it. Hey, if you don't like it, just curl it back, But I think that you will. It's just a freeing thing, like I said. And then the way I did it, it was gradual, and it was just it was a good thing. And I love it.
I think that's what held me back a little bit too, was thinking that like, I'm just going to have this line going down my head. And I didn't know that there was a thing that a good colorist can kind of like blend it. And like, people have not even noticed that. They're like, wow, I didn't and then they take a little closer look like, oh, okay. Yeah, it is silver. Wow. It just blends right in. That's what I want. I want that subtle like blending. And I didn't even know it was a thing until I kind of made that decision for similar reason too. Like, who has 3 hours to sit in a chair? Because it's a process. It is a double process, in fact, if I'm using the vernacular correctly. Yeah, and it takes a while, and it's expensive, and it's, I guess, especially going lighter, it can be damaging to your hair. And so I was just ready to just let all that go. But again, did not realize that it was actually a thing that you could blend it and have it gradually, and you didn't have to like, have this line or skunk stripe or whatever they call it, kind of live with that. You can kind of do it very gradually. And I'm feeling similar, like people don't really even notice, which is kind of cool. They won't notice until it's like all done. And then they'll be like, wait a second. Yeah. How about you, Dulcie?
Well, first I have to say, Beth, I love your enthusiasm about it, because I am exactly the same way, and I could talk about this all night. So hopefully just shut me up if I do. But mine started, my mother, who was an artist and knew everything about color, years and years ago would say, honey, because I'd start coloring my hair not to cover gray, I was just coloring it. My hair was darker. So I came from a different place than going from blonde to silver. I went from brown.
Right.
And she would say, honey, do it while you're still young, while you've got a young face. It'll be so pretty. And she hadn't done that. And she goes, this is a train you don't want to be on, And so I kind of sort of paid attention, but I did trust her. And as I was in my late 30s and getting some gray hair, I started noticing that some people that I would see that had dark hair, not blonde, but dark hair, I'd look and I'd start to see that bit of white coming through, because it comes in like within a week if your hair's dark. And I thought, gosh, I don't want that to start happening to me. And I knew I didn't want to go get it colored all the time. So I just started letting it go. And I talked to my beautician at that time. I don't think he was as thrilled about it because nobody was doing that.
Right.
And so what we did was we pulled where it was coming in, we would pull that through a cap and then continue to color the rest. So I'd have this streak coming in. Well, you can only do that for so long and it just starts looking bad no matter what. So I started cutting it. And then finally, my new hair was so much prettier and in such better condition than the colored part. And it wasn't as long as it is now, but I had no problem cutting it off. Like when I cut it off, that was one of the happiest days of my life. And I got to tell you that when I was starting to do this process, and this was a long time ago, so you can tell me if I've got you might know more about this than me, but I know it was about at least 20 years ago. I was looking in a catalog and I saw Cindy Joseph. This is before the Boom products started, but that was the first time I saw in print a woman of my age who had white hair or silver hair, whatever, it was kind of medium length. And I was so wowed by that because I just hadn't seen that before. Yeah. And that was another encouragement just to see in print in a fashion layout.
Right.
This person with silver hair. Yeah. And I have had way more compliments on my hair since I let it grow out, if you care about compliments, than I ever did when I was coloring it. More by younger people, more by men. A lot of times women my own age, unless they've done that with their hair, I don't know, I still think that people are a little bit nervous by it sometimes, and maybe, and it's a deal to get it out. But now there's so many great processes that they can do to blend it. Yeah. But you don't have to have that line, you just don't have to go through that.
Yeah. You just,
so it is so freeing. It frees your time. It frees your money. It frees also when I was coloring, there'd be like, I'd first get it colored and it looked over colored. So then after about a week, I had about a week to 10 days of it was just right. Yeah. And then I had another week to 10 days that it was not right. So, it just wasn't worth it anymore. And now it's so expensive. I can't imagine putting out that money.
Yeah. Yeah. I love what you said about the health of your hair. I'm curious if you noticed like a different texture. Like I do find I have very fine hair. It doesn't hold a curl. It barely does anything. It's just it's poker straight. But I have noticed that some of the new hair coming in is a little thicker. It's some of it I would even call wiry. It's a little different. So I'm not afraid. I'm just like, I'm noticing that it feels a little different. And was that your experience?
But don't let that bother you, because everyone says that. They go, oh, mine won't look like yours. I've got these funny, and Beth, you may have heard, and that will all go away. Yeah. And I had a quote, and I don't remember where I heard it, but somebody said over this same discussion, trust your hair. It will do the right thing. Those will calm down. It will blend in. I don't care if your hair is fine or thick or whatever. It will look good.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I think so. Like, I'm excited.
It looks good now.
Thank you. I mean, it's definitely more leaning towards the blonde, but I think as it comes in, I definitely have been noticing, because again, I don't know if you can see there, maybe about, an inch.
It looks good.
Yeah, I think it does too.
It's getting there. I'm really starting to, like, when I look in the mirror, kind of focusing on this part that's closer to my face and thinking, like, you can see, I think, Beth, this is probably similar to your natural, natural light brown. They call it mousy brown, which is sort of, it's not blonde, it's not brown, it's sort of right in the middle there, which of course, when you are growing up, you're always the most critical of yourself. And I thought, I'm not a brunette, I'm not a blonde, I'm just this like in between I don't know. You always want what you don't have. And so that is why I started highlighting, and then even as I got a little further along in started to get a little bit more of the silver coming in, I thought, well, to your point, it's expensive and it's you got to do it every 6 weeks, or like, oh, here they come again. So and because I had been doing this highlights and lowlights, it's a complicated process that you can't do that at home yourself. No. At least I couldn't. I would not trust myself. So I thought, I'm just going to go dark. I can buy a $7 box of dark color, and then it's dark. It's all one color. It covers up the grays. And that was even worse because, like you said, then you really see the contrast. And so now, like every 3 weeks, I was like, this silver stuff is not going away. And I could see it so much, which is why I went back to blonde. So, to both of you have said that it's exhausting. It's just exhausting to have to kind of, and who am I doing this for, really? I was doing it for, this idea of what I thought I should look like or feel like, or if I allow myself to, let the silver come in, what's that going to mean? And really have just started to let go of all of that over the past, little by little over the past 10 years, I'd say, because I did start, experiencing a little silver in my late 20s and early 30s, and just covered it up, just did something different, to make it less noticeable. And now, all of that's going away, and it's so exciting. Like you said, it frees up time and money and, just all of it. So thanks so much for sharing all of that. That was really, really exciting. I actually, and you mentioned too, I think both of you may have mentioned it, and I kind of forgot to ask this question. It sounded like some people were sort of rooting for you. Yeah, go for it. It's going to look amazing. And then some people might have been a little against it. And I'm curious what your experience was. I think my husband's on board now, because when I went dark, I will tell you this, he said, this was false advertising. I married a blonde. And so I said, too bad. It's, this is for me and I'm doing this for me. And, of course it was not the right color for me anyway. It looked fine, but he was not into it. And so I said, all right, I'm going to go back to blonde. And then not long after that was when I decided I'm just going to let the silver come in. And I would say, like, you sure you're okay with this silver? And he said, that's not silver, it's blonde. I said, whatever you need to tell yourself, it's fine by me, but I'm just letting you know it's coming in. And so he sort of, went from being, I think, a little bit, like, I don't want to say against it, but a little anxious about it, to kind of, now he's rooting for it. Yeah, do it. That's great. So I'm curious if you had a similar experience. Were there people who were, kind of saying, don't do it, or, was everyone kind of just on board?
My husband was all for it. He was so sweet, bless his heart. And he loved short hair. Most men do not like short hair. But my husband does. He loves short hair on women. He just likes it. But and I do too. I love short hair.
Oh, I love his
hair. Thank you. But anyway, he was, when I was at that stage where I really didn't know if I was ready for it, he would, I would mention it to him. I would start to talk about it with him, and he'd say, I don't think you're ready for it yet. And so I'd wait a couple of months, and then I'd say, I don't think, so he knows me better than I know myself.
Right.
So when I knew that I was ready for it, he just said, yeah, go for it. So he's been very supportive.
It's funny, when we're ready, we don't ask.
No, that's right. We just do it.
Yeah. I think for me, it was same, like I was kind of asking, because I was kind of like asking for a friend, like, what do you think? And I think he could just read my energy. It's like, well, if you're asking me, that's telling me that you're not quite ready. If you feel like you have to ask, like,
that's what my husband said. Yes.
Yeah. So how about you, Dulcie?
Well, as far as my husband goes, he was just fine with it. I mean, he kind of goes along with anything like that, that I want to do. And I don't know about you, Beth, did you get any negative feelings from, I might've been younger, I was in my 40s when I started doing this. So, I don't know. And of course my hair wasn't the color. It wasn't this white silver. It was, more of a mix, probably more dark, but, I did feel some negative feedback, from other women. I mean, I just let it roll off my back because I was going to do it anyway. And I always knew I could color. And I had many a time where I was this close to coloring it again.
Right.
And I don't get there anymore, but every once in a while, you just think, oh gosh, that would be really pretty. You just kind of go through that phase where you'll see a picture of someone or whatever. But now, It's just me. It's who I am. As far as my husband, it was funny. This year at Christmas, we were in Chicago and we were at this Christmas market thing, and it was really packed with people. And we were with family, and I said, well, I'm pushing in. I'm going in there to that market. It was an outdoor thing with all these booths. So and they were kind of hovering on the edge. And so I went on in, and I was kind of looking, and I came out and I said, did you lose me? And he goes, no, I just watched for your hair. And he says, I can spot you in a crowd. And that made me feel good. I don't know. I just like that comment. So it's just who I am now, and I would never go back. And I'm 1000% happy that I did it.
I love that you say that, because that is one of my concerns, is like, as I get further down this path, you can kind of like just wipe it out in one visit to the colorist, you know? And I really, it's going to take a little bit of willpower. I think I'm not there yet, because again, I look in the mirror from a distance, it's blonde. It's like, I haven't gotten out of my comfort zone quite yet, but I feel like that day could come.
And I've known 2 or 3 people that did go ahead and color after they'd grown it all out. Regretted it terribly after they did it.
It takes the time. You gotta put in the time. Yeah. So I'm glad you touched on that, because that has definitely been a concern. And again, I'm trying not to frame it as a fear, but I really want to be on the other side of it. I'm excited to be on the other side, and it's all done. And I am a little bit nervous about, like, Colleen, just hold steady, girl. Like, just don't give in to the urge to color it again. And I do have a great colorist who is on board. And I think, that's probably the biggest piece of it is, of course, your colorist wants to color your hair. Like, they don't want you to not color your hair anymore. But she has been really, really supportive of it. And, again, said like, I can do this blending thing. And so I know she's on board, and she's not going to try to, sell me and turn me back, to getting my hair colored once it's all grown in. I'll still go to her for my cut, but yeah, I'm glad that you touched on that, because it's definitely something that's come up for me. So I have another, I'm kind of going to segue into, now that we're with our silver hair, has having the silver hair changed how you approach makeup? And how does Boom kind of play a role in your makeup routine now?
Of course, I love everything about Boom. And I love how when you use Boom products, they give you a healthy and a natural and a beautiful glow. Yeah. So to me, I've never been one to wear a lot of makeup. So, through the years, I tried to wear makeup. I tried to wear the liquid makeup, and I just couldn't do it, because I just, frankly, I didn't think it looked good. I thought my face looked dull, and I didn't feel like it could breathe. So as I have gotten older, I feel like I have become a little bit wiser in choosing products that enhance my face, and that it's not going to disguise my face, but it's going to enhance beauty. And that's what I love about Boom, because everything works together intricately for your face, and it's just good stuff for your face. And I love everything about it. So,
do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite product?
Oh, don't even ask me that question. Do not. I can't go there. Listen, I will say this. The first thing that I purchased was the Boom Stick Trio. Mm-hmm. And that is the first product that I first fell in love with. Now, I will tell you, I absolutely love it all.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, it all works together. Mm-hmm. And like I said, it's good stuff for your face. I honestly feel like it's good supplements for your face.
Yeah, it's like skin food.
Yes, it is. It's skin food. That's what I tell everybody. Hey, it's like, it's like a supplement for your face. And when you know that you are putting good things on your face, you're doing something good for yourself, and that makes you feel better. I know that I'm walking out the door every day. Well, not here lately, but I do walk out the door.
Stay inside, Beth. Stay inside. Just a little bit longer.
Don't do that, Beth.
Well, when I used to walk out the door, but no, seriously, I know that, when I walk out the door and I have Boom on my face, I wear it now. It's very important to take care of your skin, even during this time. So, I love everything about Boom, and I think it all works together. And I really can't say that I have a favorite because I love absolutely all of it.
I won't put you on the spot then. I won't put you on the spot. How about you, Dulcie?
Well, yeah, just ditto to everything Beth said. I love all the products. And I did the same thing. I think the first thing I bought, and I am a long-time customer. I don't even remember how I found it. I mean, it's been that long ago. So probably when I started, I think I just got the Boom Silk and the Trio, and that might have been all that was available at that time. I can't remember. And I've never been worn much makeup either, so it was an easy thing for me to do. And Cindy Joseph was already, she was starting to do the videos and all that, and I was seeing that, and the message grabbed me hook, line, and sinker. I mean, because I was at that age where I was trying to still figure out some things, makeup, my personal opinion is as you get older, you need less makeup. I mean, maybe for certain occasions you want more and you want to doll up and all that. But well, for me personally, the more, and I talked about this on the Boom video, but I just quit with eye makeup and stuff because it would just sit there. It would get in creases. I just think it aged me, and I know we don't want to talk about aging being bad, but I want to look healthy, and the Boom products make me look healthy. And I call it moisturizer layering, because I think that once you get on, whether you're going to put on Boom Silk or Boom Cotton, whatever, or Nectar, whatever it is you want to put on in the morning, then when you go to the color, it's still a moisturizer.
Yeah.
Very much so. What it's made out of, it's all made out of basically many of the same ingredients. Right. And then if you decide to put some glimmer on top of that, that's even more moisturizer.
Right.
And I really love the gold, because I love the smell of that stuff. I kind of wish they'd put that out in a scent. Don't you love that scent?
I love Boom Gold. Yeah.
So I put it on my face, and I even threw out, I'll use it as a scent.
Yeah, just so you can smell it. That beautiful sandalwood and some of the other oils.
Oh gosh, that is just
amazing.
The best stuff. It's not flowery, or heavy. Right. It's just that light, spicy smell.
Yeah, I love it too.
Yeah.
I actually, confession, I do have a favorite, and it's cotton. And maybe because it's the all over body moisturizer, you can use it on your face. Like when I travel, I can just throw one thing, although I do kind of throw all my Boom items in the bag with me, but you can just kind of get away with just one thing for your whole body. And I like the smell of that too. It's like just a faint sweetness to it, but obviously there's no added scents or anything. It's just that natural, those bee products. But yeah, so that is my favorite. And I also like the texture of it. So interesting. Yeah, I love that. And I love that.
Put it in your hair. Has anybody, I put it in my hair.
I have it right here now. I just started doing that because every once in a while I will pull my hair into a ponytail or something and my hair will break. And so there's always this pesky little piece of hair that's like shorter. So to kind of tame it, I just put it a little bit there, and whatever, after I put it on my face, I kind of do one of these to like get those.
Interesting.
Just really barely any product left on my hands, but rather than just wash my hands right off, just to sort of tamper down those few wiry, brand new silvers that kind of just have a mind of their own. And I'm going to do what you said, Dulcie. I'm going to trust my hair. I'm not going to try to mess with it, but there are those ones that kind of get a little wild and I have to kind of calm them down.
Yeah, and you'll have to put up with those for a while, you
Yeah,
know, and then they'll start combing down into your hair. Yeah,
But boom cotton gets them to lay down just right. So yeah, so I do use a little bit in my hair and sometimes on the very ends, just to kind of, you know, keep the dead ends, I think, from splitting, you know, the split ends. So I never really thought about it as a hair product, but I'm glad you brought that up. That's interesting.
Well, as I've aged, my hair has gotten drier. Like I don't need to wash it nearly as often as I used to, and it's not good for it.
Yeah.
So it'll get, especially with the weather changing and stuff, you know, kind of frizzy, but not in a good way, you know, and it just starts getting bigger and bigger. So I use Boom Silk a lot of times, and it doesn't make it greasy at all. But if I put it on my face and then I'll go like this through my hair.
Exactly. So you don't actually put the product in your hair. You're putting whatever the residual that's on your hands. You're just
sometimes I do. Like when I swim, you were talking about the break off. From a swimming cap, I get a lot of that right here. And so before I put on my cap, I always put Boom Silk because pools are just
the chemicals and stuff.
Full of everything bad, but I swim anyway. But I put
the Boom. I swam in college, so yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you know, but I put the Boom Silk on my face for sure, and then I take it and I put it through my hair before I do the swim cap. And I also keep Boom Glow. I have a couple of those, and I keep one in my pool bag because the minute I get out of the pool, I shower and stuff at home, but my skin dries out so fast that I use the stick because I can't stand it. It's like my eyelids and everything feels so tight. And then I use that a lot throughout the day. I keep one in my purse for my skin, but also my nails because
cuticles and
they get a lot drier than they used to. So the stick is great. Oh gosh, that's a wonderful invention.
Yeah, I love it, and I love how they're so like chunky. They're like that's a good sized stick. So yeah, that's one of my faves too. And that's basically the same ingredients as silk and cotton. You know, cotton just has jojoba oil instead of olive oil, which is why it's a little thicker. But essentially, it's those same you know bee ingredients from the hive that are in Boomstick Glow too. So yeah, those are definitely my faves because they're multitaskers, which is so awesome. So we're at about the hour mark, if you can believe that. So I want to take a couple questions that have been coming in from Facebook. So I'm going to switch gears and read off a couple of questions that have come in. So one of our viewers is asking, as you look back over your life, do you see any turning points, or was there like one key event in particular that changed or set you on a different track?
Well, Beth, I don't.
Chelsea.
Well, when I stopped teaching, as I say, I'm not going to use the R word, although I love my teaching career. I've always liked art, and I just hit it hard. I decided I just didn't want to waste a single day. By waste, that's probably not the right word, but I just started diving into everything that I wanted to do artistically. Paint, I make rugs, I do a lot of things like that all the time. So I kind of just moved on with a whole different, I'd done those things before, but I didn't have time to do them like I do now. So I'd say when I stopped teaching, I did a complete about face and did a lot of new things in my life.
I love that.
Dulcie, I did not know you were a teacher. I'm a kindergarten assistant.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So when you were saying that, I thought, oh, this is so neat. I had no idea.
Yeah. I taught elementary school. I taught first, fourth, and sixth grade. So
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still at school, not now, but I haven't retired yet, but maybe one day I will. But I really can't, I guess just hitting a certain age for me kind of has done it. I think like 50, I was so scared to hit the age 50, and I thought, what am I going to do? How am I going to handle that? What are people going to think? I was thinking that still at 50. And then I think for me, when I got to 55, I started getting a mindset, okay, I'm getting older. What does it matter what people think?
Right.
You just get to a certain point in your life where you know that you're going to have to let it go. And if you've got some dreams, tucked away, you're going to have to go for them. Just do it. And I
Yeah.
think as you get older, then you have the chutzpah or whatever you call it, the gumption finally to kind of pursue those things. And for me, I do a little writing, and I've had, some articles in some local magazines here.
Wow.
So that's just kind of been a passion for me. And I've just kind of stepped out of my comfort zone as I have gotten older. So, that's a plus.
Mhm.
And that's something that I wouldn't have done when I was younger. So, I see that as a plus.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing. For me, it was, I have to say, I was 27. As I said, I grew up in Jersey, so I lived a whole life there. I feel like 27 years in Jersey, and then I moved to California. And part of the reason that I moved to California was I did not see myself. I have an art degree, a fine arts degree, which you might wonder, how did I become a COO of a beauty brand, having an art degree. And it's a long, very interesting story, but I would say that the turning point for me was deciding at 27 that, or realizing, I should say, that I could create my own life. Like I could create what I wanted to. And I don't know, somehow staying, where I grew up, where you learn all those things and all those ideas and deep seated beliefs are instilled in you. I felt like, well, I have to close this door. And nothing against Jersey. I mean, I love my homeland, but coming to, completely shedding that, that past life, if you will, and creating something brand new in California was really kind of the turning point for me. And obviously, one thing led to another, and here I am at this amazing company. But I think, that was in the spirit of what Cindy says too, and what you just touched on too, Beth. It's like, if you have an idea for what would fulfill you and what would make you happy, like go for it. Doesn't matter what age you are, just go do it. And I just did not let fear or maybe even logic, enter into my thought process. I thought, I want to be over there. And how am I going to do that? How am I going to get over there? And once I get there, then of course I didn't have a safety net. I had no family out here. I didn't have a job, and just sort of, realizing, I guess, that I could count on myself. And so, that was sort of the turning point for me, and that I could create and I could choose, very deliberately make choices that made me happy. And of course, you always make a couple choices that maybe didn't turn out so great, but overall, but you learn from that mistake, you take the good from it, and then you keep moving. And I think for me, that was a turning point, was deciding like, hey, I don't have to, run this script of like finish college, get a job in the city, be as I call them, the bridge and tunnel rats, where you live in Jersey and you work in the city and you're in a bridge or a tunnel every day commuting. I was like, I don't think that life is for me. What is for me? And, and kind of came out here, and again, just have met some of the most amazing people, and have very, very, fortunately found my place in this, in this company that, that empowers women and embraces women. And, I'm excited to kind of like continue and help that legacy, Cindy's legacy, grow. So with that, I think we have one more question, and that is, this is a question around, I knew this would be a popular topic, around the hair. So we spoke to this a little bit, but this question is, how did you transition? So did you just Did you blend it or go with a shortcut? And I think we kind of answered that a little bit, but maybe just sum it up again since this person asked. I don't know which one of you guys want to take that question. You both had a little bit different take on that.
I did both. I blended for a while and then I cut it. And I was fine. Both worked well for me. And I was glad it was over. Yeah, and it was done and I'm happy.
Yeah.
And my hair, it's basically always been short, and like I said, I had gone I was just getting tired of coloring it, and we decided to, my hairdresser and I, to make me a platinum blonde, and which, I lived that out for about 9 months. And then when my silver came through, no one noticed.
Yeah. I love that idea. I love the idea of the platinum blonde. I don't know that it'll be my journey, but I love that idea. And that has been suggested to me in the past. And I think it's a great, it's a great look too.
I loved it. I loved that too, but I will have to say that I love my silver hair better. And I really think that, Dulcie, I don't know if it's this way for you, I'm sure it is, but my hair feels healthier. I feel like my hair right now is healthier than it ever has been. And I know that's people's, what, silver hair, are you kidding me? Yes, it is. I really think that it's healthy.
And do you find too, another thing that we didn't bring up, and all 3 of us probably relate to this, and anyone else that's watching, is that your hair quits becoming a focus in your life.
Yes.
And a worry.
Yes.
Once you get it grown out, you're not worried about the color anymore. It looks too harsh, or it's this, or it's that, or I've got to get to the salon and I can't, all that kind of thing. It's just like worry free.
Yeah. It's not the focus.
Yeah, my hair, I began to really love it. And whether it's long or short, or I put it in a ponytail, that's kind of more the fun stuff now.
Right.
Before, when I was coloring, if I wanted to put it in a ponytail and it was growing out and my hair was darker, I was doing various hairstyles sometimes to disguise trips to the salon, that kind of thing, or coloring it myself, which, oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very freeing.
Yeah. Oh, I tried it all, the powders and the little spray, the little, just to cover the little bit in the middle. And so glad to not have any of that nonsense in not nonsense. I mean, if you're into it, it's cool.
Yeah.
But, for me, it's like, I'm just glad I'm not worried about it anymore.
It's a personal choice. There's nothing wrong with coloring your hair at all.
Right.
But if you're thinking about it and you really think, if it's really something you're thinking about,
do it.
Go with it. Because
That's right.
I think you'll be so pleasantly surprised at what it's going to look like.
Yeah. I like that piece of advice from your friend, like do it while your face is, or that was your mom, you said?
Yeah. Mom used to say that.
While your face is a little younger. And so, that was some of the resistance I was getting from people, is it's going to make you look older. And I thought, well, I'm 50. Like, it's going to make me look 50 is what I'm hoping. And that's fine by me. What's wrong with that? And that's another thing that you just always, in that we're always being, bombarded with this. Like, you don't look 50 at all. I got a lot of that. You don't look like you're going to be 50. And while I know the intention is very pure and very positive, sometimes I felt like, well, what's wrong with that? I don't mind, I don't mind looking 50. I am 50. So yeah, I think it's just, again, all this, this pro-age, philosophy and thought and all of that, this energy that we're kind of putting out there, I think is, it's really starting to kind of take hold, and people are, excited to embrace whatever age they are, even if they are, younger. I'm excited. And I feel like, again, I think for me, it's like the milestone birthdays seem to be like the ones that just get you really thinking. And that's cool because, you think, as I was saying, like each decade of your life, you can kind of look at it like that. And after a while, even that fades away. And it's just like, it's just my life, so, anyway, I think on that note, that was the last question that we got from our Facebook viewers. So I want to say thank you to all of them. And just, as we're wrapping up, I just want to say this was so much fun for me.
Yeah.
And I hope you ladies enjoyed it too. I know that our viewers are probably so thrilled to get to know you two ladies a little bit better too. Hopefully you ladies will join us if we do this again. Would you be open to that?
Oh,
Yes.
this was great fun. It's like, I want to get together now. Which
This is
closer together. And we could go out.
This has been so much fun. I have enjoyed this so much, having a ladies' night out, a boom Zoom.
Yeah.
Boom Zoom. I love that. That's great. Maybe we should
Zoom. There you go. That's good. Good,
Boom
Beth.
Zoom.
I love it. Well, thank you again, ladies. It really was a pleasure getting to know you a little bit better, and we will certainly be in touch. And thank you again.
Well, thank you. I really enjoyed it.
Yes, I have too.
Thanks. Have a great night.
You
All
too.
right, you
Bye,
too.
everybody.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.